Hey, what's up, everybody? Been a while since I've done an update, but I'm back and I've moved, and hopefully this is going to be the last move for quite a while. The nice thing about the move is that I got a dedicated room in a basement. That's now my train room. It's smaller, but honestly, I don't really need that big of a layout. So it's actually working out pretty good. It is I believe this is a 13 by 14 room, fully heated, insulated. The whole basement is finished in this house, so much better, much easier to work on. Don't have to deal with temperature swings, so I'm excited about that. So this is version 2. This is very similar to the layout I had before. The Sn3 is going to be up top. The standard gauge is going to be down low. The upper deck is much lower than it was at the other house. That was just too high. Not able to really work on it. Like, I had to get a stool to even almost run it. So now I went with a higher. This is probably, I don't know the exact height, but it's probably 5 feet. Yeah, 4.5, 5 feet off the ground. And then the lower one is actually going to be chair height. So as I'm sitting on the desk, you can just spin around and run it. I'm going to get an elevated seat, kind of like a larger stool, and that will be used to run the Sn3. So it is connected to the wall using all unistrut, along with angle brackets from Home Depot. And then I've just built these extensions underneath to bring it out. It's all 1x2, and then with the 1.5 inch foam on it. And it's actually it is rock solid. It continues around on the wall. Over here, it comes over to the workbench. From there, it actually uses the workbench for its support. As you can see, and it's not as strong, but it's actually pretty stiff. I'm cranking on that pretty hard. So what will happen is the standard gauge is going to come along through here. It's actually going to run probably on the inside of here along this back side of the desk, and then it's going to exit out with a lift out bridge. Same with here. It's going to have a lift out bridge over to this section, and this section is freestanding as well, and it gets all its support off the floor there. So, but it's very, very sturdy. I wanted to leave space here because I have my laser cutter in here and also my paint booth, but the paint booth is actually going to be put above the laser cutter here. I'm probably either buy a workbench or build some to go over it. And then I've got a small closet here. I took the door off, and then I'm going to put a barn door on here so I can close it. And then this is just going to be storage for all the models and everything else that I need. And I just have my program track set up in here because I did have the desk set up in here temporarily while I was sorting stuff out here. So I've been working on the Sn3, and the reason I put this Luan, it's a 3/16 Luan down, is I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but the foam I got is actually really warped. It's got like waves in it. And I didn't realize this until the foam had actually glued, because the foam is just glued to the 1x2s. I'm using the Loctite. It's like PL3000. Once it's glued on there, I mean, it is really stuck. So I didn't really have a lot of options of trying to level roadbed and everything else out, because I wanted this all to be just track level, no raised roadbed. So I went and got this Luan, and then just glued it down to the surface. It's actually worked out pretty well. I'm going to get another piece, and it may actually go extend out to here, because this back here is all warped. But you can see I've been laying some track down. It's kind of been a modified. I actually wanted to get more track in here. Here was the plan that I drew up. I made this a little bit shorter, the overall length, just because I wanted more room to access behind in the window over there. Because the way I have the vent, it actually, once you slide it open, it seals up, and then you can vent and then close the window completely, just because where I live, it snows now, so it gets cold, and I don't want that draft coming through. Plus, I had water leaking when I had the window just propped open with the piece in there. So, and that board is actually hinged in there, and it's removable, so you can remove that whole section. And then there's just, these are just inline vents that help. And I had originally put a vent just to suck the air out, but it was too noisy, so I ended up getting away from that. So yeah, just a quick update. So my plan is I need to go buy some more of the glue. I also bought some Fast Tracks jigs to make straight and curved track for the Sn3, because PBL has been out of their flex track, and all this flex track is left over from the old layout. I was able to recycle most of it, and a lot of the switches were able to get recycled as well. I've been building new ones because I need more switches now. So the Fast Track jigs, I bought a straight and a curved. It has a 36 inch and a 34 inch curve, because all these curves are all 36 inches. So it's going to curve around there, come up. This is going to be the Cumbres Pass. I'm going to build another piece to extend out to here, so this will actually be further set back. And then across the trestle, and then over there. And this is all going to stay foam. That way I can carve and, make some hills and whatnot. And then I've just been transitioning, because the Luan is 3/16, which is the same thickness as the roadbed approximately. So it lines up pretty decent. I end up having to do a little shim in here to do the transition. So it'll be the same transition here. But if you've ever used foam board, you can pretty much only glue it with the foam glue. So I've tried using white glue, and white glue, it'll dry on the outside, but it never fully dries on the inside. When you glue the foam down, it takes all day for it to barely dry. And then I've just been using Gorilla wood glue to glue the track down this time. It's a lot thinner. It's easier to get it to sit level. I was using the Loctite before, and that works great. The lock, I think it's the quick grab, but it was so thick that you'd get a lot of waves in the track. So I just went back to using wood glue. It's waterproof, so when I do ballast, it's not going to relift. And that's what I've been using to glue the track down to the wood. And what's nice is that it's strong, but you can still pop it loose. So this right now is being glued. So I've got my push pins just holding all the track in place. There's still going to be more track over here, and then that's where the oiling dock is going to be over there in the corner. And then this line and that line over there are going to run over to a double and then hit this switch right here. So hopefully all this works out. I may have to move this switch forward or back just based off the curve, and then still have to build a lift out. I'm probably just going to do like I had before, where they're just real light lift outs. To me, that seems to work the best. I've tried other stuff in the past, and they're heavier and bulkier, and they end up just coming out of alignment. So, but yeah, and then here's the workbench. It's not in its final state, but it's got me working. So, and then underneath all this, because now all the lower deck, it's all free. There's no legs. I'm going to either build some shelves or cabinets, and then that way I can put all my stuff. And I may even put like a lot of this stuff on small little rolling carts. so I can just kind of roll it around as I need it. And then all the electronics are going to be housed out here, so all the wires are going to run out here, and all the connections. So all the power bus, everything is going to be out here, so I don't have to get underneath the layout to get to it. So, yeah, I could even put, boards underneath to seal it all up, but I probably won't. But yeah, it's working out pretty good. Like I said, I'm going to finish most of the upper deck, get the Sn3 stuff at least built before I start the standard gauge. That way I have an idea where everything sits, and then I'm not conflicting with each other. And these are just temporarily put in here. I'm going to build a rack for all the electronics for the NCE and everything. And then my USB, because my computer sits underneath here. My USB adapter is going to get here. Oh, the other thing I'm doing different this time is I'm going to use frog juicers. So I've been welding just I think it's like a 38 thousandths or 40 thousandths wire underneath, and then that just passes through, and then that will power all my frogs. All my locomotives have keep alives, but if they stop on a switch frog, then they obviously don't get power to power up, and then they don't work. And then if I plan to get smaller stuff, I don't have to worry about dead frogs and then it's stalling out. So, and it's only like, I think $70 for one that does 6. I have 8, and then I think they saw a smaller one, but a buddy of mine used it on his, and they seem to work really well, and they're super simple to hook up. So we'll see, but yeah, slowly come together. I've just been taking my time on this one. The last layout, I really rushed through it, and that was built knowing that we weren't going to be there for a long time, so it kind of quality suffered from that. So I'm trying to step it up and build this one. But yeah, if you guys are building a layout, I would definitely look at using a unistrut if you can on the walls, because this whole thing is adjustable, so you can level it out, perfectly. Easy to put up. The strut's kind of expensive. The brackets are kind of expensive, but I mean, what you get for strength, like you could stand on this. There's no moving that whole thing. So, and everything's been glued and screwed together too, so that really helps with the rigidity. So anyways, just thought I'd give an update. Thanks.